So let's go ahead for your now group task, and I'm giving you the same group task which student said was asked in IOCL this year, right? I'm giving you the same group task, and let's see how you guys perform, and I'll be telling you who will pass, who will fail on the basis of that. So that is for us group task number 23, and this is the task which is appearing on your screen now. The task given this year was, you are an officer in water source department and your area is facing acute shortage of fresh water. Now, what measures would you take to resolve this crisis, water crisis? That is the topic given. I give you 1 minute and then we start discussing.
Water source department.
Okay, now I think we can start. So now I start from Arnab Adhikari. Arnab.
Good evening, everyone. Today, I want to take the opportunity to share what is the group task that is given to us. So the group task that is being given to us, that is I'm an officer, or we are an officer in water resource department, and we are facing an acute shortage of water in the area. And what are the basically measures or steps that we as an officer or as the area manager could take in order to mitigate this, or in order to fulfill the shortage as soon as possible. Since we all know that water is a very basic amenity, so at first some of the basic causes we actually need to see. So what are the basic causes that are leading to the water shortage? Like if it's something which is created by the nature or something like that, then obviously we do not have to bother about the causes, because that is not in our hands. If there are some other causes which are leading to the water shortage, for example, if there is some pipe or something that is leaking in a particular area, that is the major supply of water line, if that particular pipe is leaking, or if there is something fault in the tank. So these causes we can check first of all, if there are some environmental causes, or whether there are some manual or causes that can occur first. Second of all, what we can after that do is straight away look into the measures. For example, we need to first of all allocate some of the task force as of in order to watch and see into the areas that are hard hit by this particular water shortage. So we need to prioritize in that particular region. For example, if that particular region has some tank facility.
2 minutes only.
Okay, sir. So with this, I want to actually give this GTR direction, and I want to open the house for the discussion.
Jacob.
Okay. Good evening, my friends. And my name is Jacob, and I'm here to open the discussion on group task on how, if we are an officer in water resource department and there is a shortage of fresh water supply, and how would we mitigate it? So this is actually a real world problem that is faced by many people, and I think the keyword should be here focused is fresh water. There is an acute shortage of fresh water. So one solution, one approach to mitigate this would be setting up of purification plants. The question said there is a shortage of fresh water, but there may be an abundance of salt water or some water which is not fresh. So my point here would be to set up a purification water plant so that we can actually mitigate the problem. And also we have, my second point would be the second point that come to my mind is we have to conduct a survey on water usage in our plant, actually in our actual department. If we have to conduct a survey on water usage and maybe come up with some channels where we can improve the water usage, like more efficient, using more efficient techniques or updating the technology, etc. So these are the two starting points that came to my mind when the problem is given to us. So I like to welcome all your opinions and open the house to discussion and further continue the discussion on the group task. Thank you, and let us come to a conclusion.
Sai Kishore.
Thank you, sir. So, good evening, friends. My name is Sai Kishore. So, first of all, I'm glad to have the opportunity to introduce all of you to the task given to us today. So, the task is like you are an officer in a water resource department, and there is a shortage of fresh water in our area. So, what is the measure that you would take to resolve this problem? So, friends, I think basically, as there is a power in hand, I think it also depends on the situation of what is the actual reason of for causing the not having the fresh water in that area. So that is one thing, and the second thing is that what is the measures that you take? Like, would you plant a new what I can say? Water storage, like something like that, by with your power, like calling to your MLAs or something like that, by with references. So friends, I think we have to make some of the points. We have to discuss some of the points and make a unique decision all together. So now I'll be opening the house for discussion.
Ritesh.
Yes, sir. Hello, friends. My name is Ritesh Kumar Verma, and I am here to discuss the topic that has been given to us. The topic is about we are an officer and in water resource department, and your area is facing acute shortage of fresh water. And what measures would you take to resolve this crisis? So I will discuss about first of all the factors that are affecting the shortage of water, whether it is a environmental factor or anthropogenic factor. And I will picturize it as a fishbone diagram so that we can get to a root cause of that, and so that we can understand the every critical situations of that, and to come across the solution we will use it. And to cope up the situation, we can also use the R&D and some engineering aspects as well. So we have to understand this clearly, and I open the discussion to all my friends.
Aman.
Good evening, friends. I am Aman Jaiswal. Our today's discussion of topic is related to the acute shortage of water supply occurring in a given area. So we have to find the solution related to this problem. We can talk upon a number of points, like what can be the causes behind this, and what measures we should adopt in order to overcome the water shortage. Along with this, if we are able to find the solution of the given problem, we should also look or find new sources which could be there. If we are able to sort out at this point, then new sources may help us in the future. This topic seems to be a real world problem, and I am hoping for a good discussion so that we can reach a proper conclusion.
Mohit.
Hello everyone, my name is Mohit Dote and I am very glad to introduce you to the topic of our GT. So एक ऑफिसर है वाटर रिसोर्स डिपार्टमेंट में और उनके एरिया में फ्रेश वाटर की बहुत ज्यादा शॉर्टेज है, तो क्या मेजर्स कर सकते हैं इस क्राइसिस को रिजॉल्व करने के लिए? सो मेरा मानना है सबसे पहले ऑफिसर को पता लगाना चाहिए कि कितनी शॉर्टेज है एक्चुअल में, कितना क्वांटिटी पानी एक्स्ट्रा चाहिए। उसके बाद जितना क्वांटिटी पानी एक्स्ट्रा चाहिए उस पानी को अरेंज करने के लिए कुछ ना कुछ प्लान बनाने चाहिए। सबसे एक प्लान ये हो सकता है कि आपके पास फ्रेश वाटर की कमी है लेकिन वाटर की कमी नहीं है, ऐसा अज्यूम करके चल रहा हूं मैं, तो हम एक प्यूरिफिकेशन प्लांट लगा सकते हैं ताकि वाटर की शॉर्टेज को पूरा कर सकें। अगर हमारे पास परफेक्ट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं है प्यूरिफिकेशन प्लांट लगाने के लिए, तो हम लोग प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स से पानी खरीद सकते हैं या किसी दूसरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट से या दूसरे टाउन से हम लोग पानी बेसिकली ला सकते हैं। इसके अलावा हम लोग नए वाटर सोर्सेस को भी ढूंढने का काम कर सकते हैं। इसके साथ में हम लोग अवेयरनेस फैला सकते हैं लोगों में कि आप पानी का कम से कम यूजेस करें, इसके अलावा हम लोग सबसे पहले ये सब होने के बाद, पानी की एक्चुअल शॉर्टेज खत्म करने के, क्राइसिस को ओवरकम करने के बाद, हम लोग इसके कॉजेस के बारे में भी पता लगाएंगे, ताकि इस टाइप की जो प्रॉब्लम है अगले बार ना हो, और इसके साथ में नए वाटर सोर्सेस भी बनाने के ऊपर हम लोग ध्यान देंगे। तो मैं आप सभी से आपके पॉइंट्स इस पे जानना चाहूंगा। So we open the hall for discussion.
Kushagra?
Good evening, all of my friends. So we are presently an officer in the water resource department, and we are facing a very recent problem nowadays, and which will be upcoming in future. That there is a acute shortage of fresh water. So I look at this problem with three point of views. That first, the water is already short. So I believe that we need to regulate the amount of water that we are distributing. We can arrange that we can provide the water at a certain interval of time, so that people can store and accordingly use, because it will help in reducing the wastage that would otherwise have been occurring. Second point of view is that since water is there and it has become acute because of the usage of the people, so now there is a need that people should understand that there is water scarcity and they should use it very judiciously. So the second approach should be that we need to create awareness. With regard to awareness, there can be multiple ways, like conducting social gatherings and preaching about the misuse of the water that is happening, or preaching the correct techniques that could have been adopted, but they are being neglected or being not understood. And the third perspective I would say is that we should start looking on the better alternatives to store water, like rainwater harvesting. And there is one of the method that I have seen, that Japan uses the water that they use for washing their hands, same water for flushing the toilets. So these alternatives, many of you must have been aware of these methods. So I believe that these methods can further help in reducing the usage of water on a daily basis. I believe that we all must have studied in power plant, like we recirculate the water, that the water that goes into the turbine, it gets recirculated back to the turbine after treating it. So we should create a cycle in which we are reconsuming the same water that we might have
Kushagra, you have to sum up now.
polluted. So I believe these are the 3 point of views that with which we should progress. I invite all of my friends to share their point of views accordingly. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Today's topic for group task is we are a officer in water resource department, and we are facing a shortage of fresh water. We have to take different measures for resolving the crisis. First, we have to find the reason for the crisis and try to resolve that. And we can request people to use less fresh water, and we have to arrange more resource of water by river, or we can go for a private player, or we can help with the industry, and we can arrange a campaign for people that we have to save water, and we have to give a definite amount of water, so that we can arrange, we can manage the water for the people, for the public. So we have to check the at the time ground level water. So I would have to open a house for discussion.
Okay, so I think first round all of us have completed now, and now we come to the second round of discussion. That will be for 10 minutes, and in which you are to agree to others' point, disagree to them, and reach some kind of consensus, some kind of conclusion after the discussion. So let's discuss, and I open the house for discussion now.
Okay,
So
my
I
dear
believe
friends.
that water is such a basic amenity for all the people of our society, that I believe that at first we should look that we are distributing the water equally for all the people. So I believe water should be distributed at equal interval of times.
We have to
That is very necessary. Second thing is that we need to create the awareness. That awareness need to be created among the
So
people,
friends, I
because
think-
there has been acute shortage of water, and it's
Yes, I
because of the
agree with
misuse
you.
of water.
Yes,
So the
I agree
misuse of
with you,
water
my
has
dear
been
friend.
there. That's why the people need to be educated.
Agree with you, my
I
dear friend.
think
I
before
think,
creating the awareness,
I
we
think-
actually
I-
need to look into the issue that what are the
Causes क्या है
causes
उसके
as
पहले
of now
डिस्कस करते हैं।
As of
चलिए
now, what are the
water
causes?
के causes
actually
क्या है?
Then we need to
these things
basically
Yes, I agree
these
with
things
Arnab
need to go
that
After
we have
that, the
to,
awareness
we
part
have to
comes.
these
find
things need to go
actually
parallelly.
using
The
the
awareness
we have
part.
to find
Actually, we
looking
need
for
to
the
basically
why we
look
are,
into the
distribution of the
cycle
water
as
and
well
as well as
how the
as well as
crisis is
implementation of the
conducted.
renewable
dimension to
sources
this.
of water.
All right, to
All
add
these three
to
things
add
need to
another
go parallelly.
dimension.
We
पहले ये
cannot be just
डिसाइड
looking
करते हैं
for
कि
the
कॉजेस क्या है,
factors.
कॉजेस क्या है
We
पहले।
cannot be
To
just
add an
looking for the causes first and then acting. We need to work parallelly all for all these steps.
Also, we
I
have
believe.
to check the
Cause
fact
if
that
we-
we have
ढूंढने
to
से
check the
पहले
fact
मेरा
that
my
water
dear friends,
केवल
shortage
प्लान
is in the
बनाना है,
fresh water
implementation
only.
my
में
dear
क्या
friends,
पहले
सबसे
The water
पहले
shortage
my
would
dear
not
friends,
be
cause is
सबसे
very
non
सबसे
cause is
पहले
very true.
yes yes I agree
Initial
रीजन क्या हो
initial
सकते
process.
हैं, क्या कह सकते हैं इसके कारण स्कैर्सिटी आई है?
What are the
रीजन क्या क्या हो सकते हैं जिसके कारण स्कैर्सिटी आई है?
basically yes yes
पहले
basically
कॉजेस
सबसे
डिस्कस
पहले
कर देते हैं।
basically what I'm
basically
trying to add
my
is
dear
that
friends
we have to,
that may be
yes,
one of the cause.
I agree with Kushagra that water is a great amenity, but the fresh water,
Yes, 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 exactly. I
acute
The
actually
fresh
I
water,
want
yes.
to
The
take
part the
example
fresh
here, right?
water is
Talking about fresh
regarded.
water,
may
We
be
need to set up the purification
exactly.
plant
So
as well.
we can
That is very
have
true.
Yes,
That is
yes,
very
I
true.
agree with
purification
Purification
plant
plant needs to be set up.
we have to
Also,
arrange a
But
center
if
to
you
add
can,
another
we can have a
dimension to
more
this,
fresh water.
It
like
also depends on the
rainwater
area.
harvesting
Okay.
is
yes
also
I
a good
yes I
point.
agree with you
So we
Sai.
have to add
rainwater
rainwater
harvesting is
I agree
actually a
with you
better,
Sai.
If the people are
vastly
Basically
better
सबसे पहले
implementation.
मुसागर
or if the
my
people
dear
Yes,
friends
yes,
सबसे
yes.
पहले हम
is
लोगों को
increasing the
yes
awareness.
yes Sai yes I
Rainwater
agree with you my dear
harvesting,
friends
increasing the
सबसे पहले
awareness
हम
of
लोगों को
rainwater harvesting is
harvesting.
good, Jacob.
सबसे
We
पहले
can
हम
arrange
लोगों को
rainwater harvesting.
इस सब के पहले माय डियर फ्रेंड इस सब के
I
पहले
agree
हम
with you
लोगों
with
को
this.
पता
I agree
लगाना
with you with this
पड़ेगा
completely.
पता लगाना पड़ेगा, वही तो मैं
हम
कह रहा हूँ,
लोगों को
पता
पता
लगाओ,
लगाना
कॉस्ट पे जानो,
पड़ेगा
कॉस्ट पे जानो
take
ब्रो,
what is
कितनी
the cause
क्वांटिटी
of
पहले
कम
पता
है
करो।
भाई
माय डियर
पता
फ्रेंड्स
लगाना बहुत जरूरी
My
है,
dear
लेकिन
friends,
इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि वी आर
की
नॉट
कितना कम है
implementing
पानी
it.
कितना कम है
Implementation और पता
या
लगाना
तो
side by side चलता है.
yes
There are
yes
different
I
teams
agree
for
with
it.
you my
Yes,
dear
yes, I
friends
agree.
R&D
Yes, yes, yes.
department
Awareness have to be
second
increased.
क्या कहते हैं
Let
अंडरग्राउंड
this in the
वाटर अवेलेबल नहीं
community.
है क्या हम लोग के पास.
सबसे पहले
अंडरग्राउंड वाटर
yes,
अवेलेबल
yes.
नहीं है तो
Water
कैनाल से ही हम लोग को पानी
public
लाना
resource,
पड़ रहा
right?
है.
Arrange a
So we
campaign
have to
between
Very
increase
true.
awareness
But
of
at the same
public
time जब
also.
वाटर शॉर्टेज
We
हो
have to
चुका है तो हम लोग को
arrange
डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन भी मेंटेन
them.
करना पड़ेगा.
So that we
तो
can
उस टाइम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन मेंटेन करने के लिए हम लोग को ये इनिशियल स्टेप्स लेना
My dear
जरूरी
friend, yes, Kusagra.
साइड बाय साइड जब हम लोग इम्प्लीमेंट
लेकिन पहले yes, Kusagra, I agree with you.
अवेयरनेस
लेकिन इससे पहले हम
अवेयरनेस
लोगों
पे बहुत
को
जरूरी है. अवेयरनेस
awareness से
अवेयरनेस
पहले
क्रिएट करना भी बहुत जरूरी
awareness
है.
से पहले my dear हम लोगों
होना
को
चाहिए.
awareness से पहले हम
हम लोग को
लोगों को
कॉस्ट
पता
पता
लगाना
लगाना
होगा
भी जरूरी है.
कितना
पता
पानी
लगाना
की
जरूरी है.
shortage हुई है.
एग्जैक्टली कॉस्ट पता लगाना भी
सबसे
जरूरी है.
पहले शॉर्टेज कितनी हुई है सबसे पहले शॉर्टेज कितनी है ये पता लगाओ उसके बाद
अमाउंट
डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का
जरूरी
प्लान
है.
बनाओ
ये दैट इज वेरी
तो
ट्रू.
पहला कॉज हो
डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का
सकता है
प्लान बनाना नहीं होता है
population को
एक्चुअली. हर
पहले
सिटी में
हमने
पहले से डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का प्लान
बेसिकली क्या
एस्टेब्लिश
है
रहता है.
आप लोग
हम
अगर
लोग को
किसी को
डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन
ज्यादा
के प्लान
डिस्ट्रीब्यूट
का
करो
टाइमिंग सॉर्ट करना पड़ेगा ताकि
बिल्कुल
डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन टाइमली हो सके.
Actually,
डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन
to
प्लान
add
जरूरी
money,
है.
we'll have
करना
to
पड़ेगा
assume
रिगार्डिंग
the worst case
रिगार्डिंग
scenario
रिगार्डिंग द
also.
फ्रेश
हम
वाटर
लोगों को
अवेलेबिलिटी
In
रिगार्डिंग द
our
फ्रेश
place,
वाटर
Kusagra.
अवेलेबिलिटी हम
So
लोग
that
को
we
worst
have
case scenario
have a
is
different
प्लांट
amount of
जरूरी है.
water
worst
for
case
all of
scenario.
them.
In the worst case scenario, water
The main
can be
issue that we are not
from
talking
other
about is
places.
that
Yes.
awareness
We
बहुत
have to
जरूरी
think
होता
about
है.
that.
अवेयरनेस
Yes, I agree with you. Awareness तो फैलाना
एक्चुअली
पड़ेगा.
बहुत ही लोअर
awareness
स्ट्रेटा
for
में
very
लोअर
long.
Yes.
So actually, I
लोअर
want to
स्ट्रेटा
add
में
here,
Awareness is a very
अवेयरनेस
good
रहता
point.
नहीं है.
Before
Awareness is a very good
before
point.
इस टाइम पे मैं
yes,
चाहूंगा
Sanitation,
कि इवन
purification
कॉलेजेस में और
plants is also
स्कूल्स
very
में
good
जाके
point.
जो कल्चरल प्रोग्राम्स
But
होते हैं उनके थ्रू हम लोग विलेजेस में
cultural
जाएं.
programs,
हम उन
yeah.
लोग
अवेयरनेस अवेयरनेस मैक्सिमम लोगों को होती है
Listen,
ऐसा
listen,
that is
listen.
not
Actually,
that is
want to
not
say
the
that
लोगों को
lower
वाटर का
strata
अरेंजमेंट
the
कौन
lower
है
strata the
other
lower
people
strata
also.
people are
Friends,
not very
ठीक है,
aware.
लोगों को अरेंजमेंट करना है वाटर का.
वो
कॉजेस क्या है
कई
उसके?
टाइम पे नल
Raising
खुला छोड़ के
awareness is
इधर
a
से
very
रखते हैं.
good point, but
हम लोग
Yes,
in the
yes,
कई
worst
yes.
कई बार
scenario,
ब्रश
we have
करते
to
टाइम
प्लान
टॉयलेट
के
खुला
आप
छोड़
अवेयरनेस
देते हैं.
फैला
हम लोग क्या
चुके
कहते
हैं,
हैं
लोग
शावर जाने
समझ
के
चुके
बाद
हैं,
होता है rather than
फिर भी
multi.
हमें एफर्ट डालने पड़ेंगे, उसके लिए पहले कॉजेस
To be
पता लगाना
calculated that
पड़ेगा।
which is better, which is
आप
actually
तो
better.
Listen,
awareness
listen. I want to add a point here. I want to add a point. before
implementation of water
Hello.
from
Yeah, I want to
So
add
the
a point.
third
from
point,
other
there is
places.
also a third point that we need to set up the rainwater harvesting equipment, because rainwater harvesting equipment are generally
That yes, yes,
established
वो
by
बात
those
की बात
who are
है
already
सागर वो
well
बात की
established.
बात है हम लोगों को सबसे पहले वाटर का अरेंजमेंट करना पड़ेगा अगर हमारे पास वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट है तो हम लोग वाटर को ट्रीट कर सकते हैं यस यस अगर हम लोगों के पास वाटर
Yes, I'm not.
there can be several causes, sir. There can be
We are
several
already
causes.
agreed about water establishment plant, water purification plant के लिए हम लोग agree कर चुके हैं.
Available due to
Already
several
agreed.
infrastructure
to check the causes there.
friends,
I'm proceeding in what we are
प्रॉब्लम है तो हम लोग
Yeah,
सोर्सेस के ढूंढ सकते हैं, बाहर से पानी ला
थर्ड
we
स्टेप
need to
हम लोग का
we need
हम लोग
to we need to
के
basically look into the process
प्रोग्रेस जब
first.
करेंगे तो हम लोग का थर्ड स्टेप यही होना चाहिए कि हम लोग को रिन्यूएबल सोर्सेज और जो वाटर रिसोर्स हम लोग कलेक्ट कर सकते हैं उसको पहुंचाना
Kushagra,
That
I
is the
just
third
want
point,
to
I
add
believe.
this one point.
Yes,
You just said about renewable sources. Kushagra, you just said about renewable sources, isn't it?
Yes, yes,
Do you
yes.
think
Water-
renewable sources is the immediate solution
that is-
to the
that-
crisis?
No, no.
Immediate
that is the ongoing process. That is the ongoing
No,
process.
no, 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 no. What you need to
Because
consider.
once you
Kushagra,
establish the process,
you are
all the
getting
city,
into
all the
wrong
region,
direction,
all the region
You
you
are-
are
you are-
looking for.
yes,
You
listen,
are
listen,
looking for
Kushagra,
all the
Kushagra.
region. That is not a one.
No. Renewable
You have to
resources.
establish
right? That
you
is
have
the
to
wrong
establish the
direction.
contractors who are going to establish those projects at each house, each and every house. You can store the rainwater to replenish the groundwater.
Listen.
That can be very helpful.
Rainwater is a rainwater.
Yes, we can see there's
water generally
of rainwater that is
I can agree to you, Kushagra, but rainwater cannot be available all the time, right? Rain has a
Yes, I
season.
agree with you, Arnab.
Monsoon, right?
that is
You need
that
to,
is the thing.
Kushagra, you
We
just
need
need to focus into something which will work actually. Rainwater
will
cannot
work. This
work
will
every
work.
time, right?
No, no, no.
So, and we are talking about renewable resources. Renewable resources in India
People
can
establish large ponds.
Solution to the problem. Can you just say?
People establish large ponds through which they can.
No.
People
Kushagra,
can
you
establish
first
large
say
ponds
me.
through which
I
they can.
can understand.
through
You can
which
you
they can
just say
circulate
what
the whole
is the
city.
renewable. What is the
Rainwater is a
renewable
very good
resource?
approach. How can you say that
What
rainwater is not a
what
good
is
approach?
the renewable resource you're talking about? Can you just
Rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting.
what is renewable in the rainwater harvesting? Can you say about it?
There are far more better techniques than rainwater harvesting also.
Rainwater harvesting is a good technique, but it also has a limitation, man. Because rainwater harvesting cannot be available all year. That's some
I believe the limitation is the season. Limitation is the season. Every season you cannot harvest
What
the
I'm actually
rainwater,
wanting
but
to
if you
point out is
have a
that you actually need to see the vicinity areas where the readily water can be
Yes,
made
I agree with
available,
you,
right?
Arnab.
Yes, you need
Yes,
to-
I totally agree with you, idea.
I agree with that.
आसपास के एरिया आसपास के एरिया में हमको देखना होगा
We need water from other sources also. We need pipelines. We need to establish the pipelines. But those projects are very heavy. What we can do at a very immediate cost is help people establish at cost effective prices. That is a very long process. That is a very long
हम लोग टैंकर से भी पानी ला सकते हैं हम लोग बाहर से टैंकर से भी पानी ला सकते हैं
you should believe that we should be self-dependent. Do you believe
Dependency had there been, listen, Kushagra, I
we
just
should
wanted
be
to
self-dependent because
had there been
no
a case
people
of
are going
self-dependency,
no
had
people
there
are going
been a
to
case of
give away the water
self-dependency,
just for free. Just for free.
shortage wouldn't have occurred, right? You just
Why?
think it very practical way. Had
Why
there
don't you
been
think
a
that shortage has occurred
self-dependency.
because of the misuse of water? Why can't you say that?
Yes, misuse can be a reason, but it can not be the only reason.
So that means the survey is a
Look into the all the alternatives,
We'll have
right?
to research our own company.
We are talking about renewable resources. You're saying rainwater harvesting.
Unless we are
Harvesting
talking
is not a
about drought
renewable
rate,
thing, right?
unless we are
Yes,
talking
this is
about
so
drought
the-
rate in areas, that is not
A viable
then
option. A
misuse is
viable
the-
option would be. A viable option would be to search for better techniques for better use of
Exactly.
the
That
water
can be,
in
yes,
the
that
area.
can be a
I gave an example of Japan that they
Yes,
use the same water what we
yes, that's Kushagra. I just wanted to say this is a
those
good point.
techniques we can implement from other countries. We can learn
This is a good point. That we can.
It is very true. Nowadays we are having bio toilets. And
But
same way I was saying
listen,
when I was-
Kushagra.
Yes,
You are saying something. You are saying something which will take time.
I think it's
Okay, which will take time to get implemented, right? These are the technologies that
it will take time, but it will be a very organic growth. We will be
That can be
growing.
organic
We will be
growth,
growing
but
self-independently.
you need to be very-
Not be depending on others. That will be a culture that will be developed.
I want to reiterate a point. I want to reiterate
As an
a point of
organization,
you just
as
said
an
that
organization of
creating
water, yes, as an organization of a water
Creating
development part,
awareness,
we need our first priority is to distribute the water. That I believe that is our first priority. And the second second priority,
Yes, that
second
is
priority
that
goes
is
to
the
the
most
people who are
immediate
using.
relief.
People who are using, because they
That
also
can be
need to be
relief that
aware
can
that they
happen,
don't
right?
misuse it.
Yes, yes,
And they
yes.
don't misuse
Yes.
it. That is the second
Yes,
priority.
creating
From their
awareness
side.
is a very
And
practical
that is
solution. I
awareness
agree.
need to be
Exactly,
created, I
इस
believe.
तरीके की problem
Hello?
I
को
agree to
awareness
it.
फैलाने से
Also
हो
have
जाती
to
है मेरे
So
ख्याल से। अगर हम
I
सही
believe
तरीके
that
से
we
awareness
can come at
फैलाएंगे
a
तो लोग अगर
conclusion. I
उसे
believe that we
मानते
can, yes, we can come at a
Yes,
conclusion.
yes,
There
yes,
are
yes.
two-part
Yes, yes,
strategy.
sure,
That
sure,
the
sure.
first
Yes,
part
yes,
from
yes,
our
that's true.
side, that we need to distribute and make resources for proper
Yes.
distribution of water. And the second is that to create awareness so that it
Another
doesn't
To give a equal
misuse.
amount of
Another
water to
conclusion
so
we
that
can
we
Sir,
have
like
proper
causes
distribution of water.
I just I
We
have
have
to I want to
I
give
can
an
also
example.
add
we have
cleaning of
distributed
pure
to each
water in
family.
bigger
So there are
We have a
point is
proper water management.
I believe we can discuss on how to distribute the fresh water.
water.
We can what are the ways
That
that
can
we can
be very
distribute
immediate
the fresh
solution.
water.
That is
Before
true. That is a
distribution, we
practical
have to
approach.
understand how we get that.
Practical.
Talk to
But
the
we have to
private
come
people.
We can have contracts
can-
from
we
the
can-
nearby region. We
First
can
of
have
all,
contracts from the
first
nearby
of all,
regions,
listen,
which are
we after looking into the causes, what we can do is after looking into the causes, like the immediate relief need to be provided, right?
Yes,
After
yes, yes.
immediate
I agree
relief,
with you.
then
short-term solution.
then create the awareness, and then
That is a
basically
long
look
term.
into
I
the
think that is a
long
long term.
run perspective
rather than
alternatives.
rather than
Yes, yes,
Arnab,
yes.
I would like to
Go for
interrupt you.
long run.
Arnab, I would like to
River
interrupt
water
you.
is also
Actually,
very
short-term
Rather than
approach and
Can
long-term
provide us
be
approach.
going
something
parallelly.
that
That
can
is what I
relieve
was
them, but
saying.
we have to
We
do
Yeah,
cannot be
something.
parallelly
going
good
one
thing,
by
but
one.
at least
We cannot be
prioritize
going
the
one by
things that are
one.
necessary, right?
Yes.
At the first
See,
place.
we will
yes,
have
yes.
different departments who will be looking
Yes.
at different problems at a time.
What are the
So we
possibilities?
need to
Yeah?
go parallelly. We
Yes,
need
yes.
to go
Listen,
parallelly.
listen. When there is a water
Of
shortage,
course,
it is a
parallel.
very
Need to
very
go to
basic
parallel
amenity,
is a
right?
very good approach.
friends.
So then we can actually
Actually,
implement all the departments. First of all, relieve that particular issue in a particular area. After relieving, then look into the
Okay.
long-term perspective.
I
okay.
agree
It's
with you,
the
Arnab.
short
I
term.
That
agree
is right.
completely with
Yes,
you,
yes,
Arnab.
yes.
I
Okay,
also
now
want
I
to
think we
add-
should
Agree with
conclude.
Arnab.
Let's
Learning
conclude
We
now.
have to provide
Infrastructure can be a long term.
Arnab, please conclude now.
We have to arrange something for that. We have
Arnab,
to
please
arrange water
conclude now.
tankers for them.
Yes. Okay. On behalf of everyone, I just want to conclude this particular discussion. This was a very heated discussion, but yes, we tried to actually cooperate everyone and give some points. So, like as we started in the discussion, we started like what are the causes that we need to look into the causes. Some of my friend also suggested that we can use a Ishikawa fishbone diagram to get into the root cause. That could also do. But yeah, I was of the opinion that first of all we need to relieve the people who are acute shortage and are hit hard, and after that we can actually look into that what are the steps at the present. I would go with the Kushagra. Kushagra added that yes, we can create awareness, because at that particular moment when there is a shortage, then the area people, if they do not get aware, then obviously that can lead to a more devastating phase. First of all, second, the 2 and 3 points that are given by Jacob also, who said that yeah, like purification plant can be added if it's a case, like efficient techniques and employable technologies that can be applied. It was given by Jacob. That's a very good point, I would consider. And after that, there are many points, like Ritesh said that fish, I've just included it. And then yeah, we can also take some private player to the place in case there is no other help. So these are the basic approach we can apply to mitigate this water shortage. And in the long run, we can also take some steps like a bio toilet and everything, if it is applicable, to so that this situation not occur. So with this, I want to conclude the discussion.
Okay, now Jacob.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. This is a very good and healthy discussion, in my opinion. And we had a very varying opinions on how to come up with a solution of fresh water shortage. And I think our discussion concluded, and all our opinions can be categorized into 2 approaches. One is short-term approach, and another one is long-term approach. And short-term approaches include the point I said, that water treatment plant, and point myself and my friend Sai Kishore also said. And short-term approach include immediate internal survey, like fishbone diagram, and to root out the cause of the problem, and prioritize the water distribution. Arnab, my friend, he said, like, I think that is a very good point, because when there is a shortage, you have to prioritize where the immediate, prioritize the distribution where the immediate, need is there. So that is a short term. By long term, by Kushagra has contributed very much to this problem, that increasing awareness is a very good, but it is a long term. But it is a long term. Organically, we can solve this problem. and updating the techniques and rainwater harvesting and employing various eco-friendly techniques like biotoilet, etc., are, I think, a long-term solution. So I think this is a very useful conversation that we have come up with both short-term and long-term. And I think I concluded this. I conclude this group task by saying that we have to employ both the approaches parallelly, short-term and long-term parallelly. And I think we can mitigate this water shortage problem very soon if we approach this problem. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, now Sai Kishore.
Thank you, sir. Friends, we had a healthy discussion and we have great points to we have discussed also. So, friends, we have came to the conclusion that we have harvesting harvesting water. Some Kushagra has said some of those points. But friends, first of all, this task, in my point of view, I will be dividing this into as a human water resource department officer. I will be dividing it into two types, depending upon the area. Is it a rural area or is it a urban area? And I also identify the problem. So I think if I say that if I'm an officer and I went to a rural area where the problem is of pipe leakage, then what I will do, it is just a matter of to resolve it. It's a matter of just let us say within 1 hour we can resolve it. So that can be a possibility. No, if it is not a pipe problem, it is a water transferring, like transportation. It should be coming from a pump to water plant to the houses. So what I'll do in that case, I'll be just I'll be like using some of the tractor. What I can say, there will be a tractor water carrying pumps. So I'll be sending those things to the pump water plant, and then I'll be like whoever needs it or what is the area, depending upon that, I'll be just sending them. And the third thing is that for example, if there is no water at all, that can also be a possibility, right? So ultimately, if there is no water, ultimately as a human water resource department officer, there is no thing in my hand. So ultimately, I'll call to the higher what I can say power, like MLA in the village or in that village, right? So I'll be contacting him and I'll be discussing, sir, there is no water. So what is the problem to be resolved? So I think this can also be a possibility. So and coming to the urban areas, I think there is the area is very large in urban areas, but in rural it will be very confined. So I think in urban areas, if I'm a water resource officer, so what I'll do is just I'll be checking out what is the requirement. But ultimately in urban areas, there will be a what I can say, there will be a utility like storage. They will be storing in terms of filters or in terms of it's a fresh water. So ultimately they will be using some cans, something like that. So I think depending upon the different situations, I think I will be making in this way the decision. So that's all about it, and thank you.
Ritesh.
Thank you, friends. On behalf of everyone, I conclude the topic. We come across some sorts of awareness programs and their consequences that we have to raise them to the ground level, and we come across to the various alternative, various causes of that. The causes was just like as we know that the groundwater is the biggest source of fresh water. So we have to recharge the groundwater. Some cause of the depletion or we are not using the groundwater is the use of landfill. It produces leachate and it ultimately produces the groundwater, and we are not using it. So we are depleting it actually. And what are the possible ways through which we can also increase the groundwater? We can use the porous concrete. As we already know that due to the urbanization, we are cementing everything. So it will be a great step for us to imply the porous stone as the water will drain down. And we have discussed the rainwater harvesting, and we also discussed the misuse of water that has been done by the various people. And we also categorize how to tackle those problems in two ways: the short-term way and the long-term way. Water treatment plant or some cleaning of river water has to be done quickly so as to benefit it to the people. And long-term way is in rainwater harvesting, survey of water has to be done. So I think it was a very healthy discussion, and we conclude this.
Aman?
सर मेरे हिसाब से जो डिस्कशन रहा वो काफी अच्छा रहा है। हमने कई पॉइंट्सों पे डिस्कस किया है और जो इसका मेन कंक्लूजन मेन सॉल्यूशन जो है हम पाया है, हम दो तरीके से कर सकते। पहला तो हम शॉर्ट टर्म में सोचे और दूसरा लॉन्ग रन में सोचे। तो शॉर्ट टर्म में रन में सोचने के लिए हमने कई प्रोग्राम्स को, जैसे अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम हो गया या किसी ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी को जो जल्दी से वाटर को ट्रीट कर दे और प्यूरिफाई करके सप्लाई करने में मदद करे, या हम नियर बाय सिटी से पानी टैंकर्स के थ्रू या जहाँ पे इजीली अवेलेबल है वाटर वहां से हम इजीली अपनी सिटी में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दे। इस तरीके की टेक्निक्स के बारे में हमने बात करी और इसी के साथ हमने प्रायोरिटाइज भी करने की बात करी कि मेन जहाँ पे ज्यादा जरूरत है पानी की पहले वहां पहुंचे और बाद में फिर जो उसके नीचे वाली जगह पे। उसके साथ सर शॉर्ट रन में हमने रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग की भी बात करी कि अगर हमें स्टोर करके रखते वाटर को तो ये जो हमारे जो क्राइसिस का टाइम है वहां पे ये काफी हमें मदद करेगा। दूसरा पर्सपेक्टिव हमारा लॉन्ग रन में रहा, जिसके हिसाब से अगर सर हम जैसे ऑफिसर है तो हम वहां पे मतलब अगर उसकी प्लानिंग को ऑब्जर्व कर सकते कि हमने जहाँ पाइपलाइन वगैरह जो फिटिंग करी क्या उसमें कोई दिक्कत है, जैसे कहीं लीकेज हो रहा हो या इस तरीके की छोटी मोटी या दिक्कत है। या तो फिर अगर हम इस तरीके से भी सोच सकना चाहिए, अगर लॉन्ग रन में सोच रहे कि क्या हमने जिस चीज के लिए डिजाइन किया था वो सही से अवेलेबल हो भी पा रही कि नहीं। ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है कि हमने कम पॉपुलेशन के लिए डिजाइन किया और अभी पॉपुलेशन काफी बढ़ गई है तो इसके कारण दिक्कत हो रही हो, या फिर कोई मेट्रोलॉजिकल दिक्कत हो रही है, जैसे उस एरिया का जो यस सर जो क्लाइमेट हो गया है तो उसके कारण दिक्कत। तो इसी तरीके की सर हमने लॉन्ग रन में कई बातों पे डिस्कशन किया और मेरे हिसाब से डिस्कशन काफी सही रहा और हम कंक्लूजन पे पहुंच गए कि हमें शॉर्ट रन में भी सोचना पड़ेगा और लॉन्ग रन में भी सोचना पड़ेगा।
मोहित?
Okay, friends, I took the opportunity to conclude this topic. Though we have not very smooth discussion, but could reach the consensus. So हम लोग स्टार्टिंग से लगभग एक ही ट्रैक पे चल रहे थे और फाइनल भी हम लोगों ने डिस्कशन बहुत सही किया। हम सब ने माना कि हाँ अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम है तो हम लोगों को पहले पता लगाना चाहिए प्रॉब्लम कितनी बड़ी है, कितना अमाउंट ऑफ पानी कम है और हम लोगों को उसको किस तरह उस प्रॉब्लम को खत्म कर सके। हम जैसे कई लोगों ने कहा कि सप्लाई को इंटरमिटेंट कर दो, अलग अलग सप्लाई को उस हिसाब से जितना पानी उस हिसाब से कर दो ताकि सबको बराबर पानी मिल सके। सेकेंड कि वाटर हम लोग कहाँ से ला सकते हैं उसके ऊपर हम लोग हम लोगों ने बात करी, वाटर प्यूरिफिकेशन प्लांट के ऊपर बात करी, प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स को इंक्लूड करने पे बात करी, आजू बाजू अलग अलग आसपास के टाउन से आसपास के डिस्ट्रिक्ट से वाटर लाने की बात करी। इसके अलावा हम लोगों ने ये भी कहा, हम लोगों में से कई लोगों ने ये भी कहा कि अवेयरनेस फैलाने से हम लोग पानी की यूसेज को कम कर सकते हैं। अल्टीमेटली हम लोग इस क्राइसिस को कुछ ना कुछ हद तक मिटिगेट कर सकते हैं। इसके अलावा बहुत से लोगों ने कहा कि हम लोगों को रूट कॉज भी पता लगाना पड़ेगा कि किस कारण ये वाटर की शॉर्टेज हुई और अगली बार ऐसी शॉर्टेज ना हो। लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए हम लोगों को सस्टेनेबिलिटी गोल बनाने होंगे कि हम लोग किस तरह नए वाटर सोर्सेज को ईजाद कर सकते हैं, किस तरह से रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग कर सकते हैं, किस तरह से आगे ये प्रॉब्लम ना हो इसके लिए अलग अलग प्लान बना सकते हैं, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लान बना सकते हैं। सो बेसिकली हम लोगों ने सबने इस प्रॉब्लम का इस तरह सोल्यूशन निकाला and this I conclude that.
Shagar?
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to thank all my teammates. We were able to get to a very good conclusion. I was able to have a very good sharing of points, and I hope that I meet Arnab at the real GD also. So we can conclude that we have seen that we will be approaching the problem with two ways. The first is the short term, and the second is the long term. So for the short term, I believe that we need to focus on what are the areas that are very, very dangerously hit by the acute shortage of water. And we need to provide them with the water tanks or whatever sources we are able to provide them if there are no pipelines. And the second thing that for the short term we can do is, since we are already of acute shortage of water, so we should, I suggested it, maybe that point got skipped, but we should regulate at what timings that we are providing the water. Since everyone will be connected to the pipeline, we can give a 3-hour slots in the morning and in the evening, so that the water does not get wasted again and again. People use the motor end, so it doesn't get wasted. So for the short term, this is the approach. And if in case there is water needs to be treated, and if the fresh water is not there, then we need to put up a water purification plant. Then that is also a necessity. And on the long term basis, sir, I also suggested that the short term and long term plans should go parallelly. Although since short term are the high priority, so it should go at a faster pace. But the long term plan should proceed at the same pace, because it is it needs time to grow. So in the long term approach, first we need to create the awareness. Since there is an acute shortage of water, that means the water has been misused. So the awareness needs to be created. The second thing is that we need to start developing infrastructure that, like the storage of rainwater. Arnab suggested that it might not be very useful in the off seasons. That is very true. So I suggested that it could be utilized if we had a very large area like a lake through which we can store the water at a larger amount and then distribute it.
Now?
Yes, sir. This last point. And the third point in the long term strategy was that we should start implementing the so that we our city, our region becomes self-dependent. We don't need. Otherwise, we need to get contracts from the nearby regions, which are plenty of water, and we need to make contracts with regards to canals or pipelines or through whatever water tanks can be transported. So thank you. I would like to conclude this topic. We had a very fruitful discussion about this. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I would like to conclude on behalf of my team. हमें दो तरीके से सोचना पड़ेगा, एक शॉर्ट टर्म के बेसिस पे, एक लॉन्ग टर्म के बेसिस पे। शॉर्ट टर्म में हमें या तो कोई टैंकर प्रोवाइड करना पड़ेगा, या फिर हमें किसी भी तरीके से हमें उनको मदद करनी पड़ेगी, चाहे हम प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स की मदद करें, चाहे हम किसी और टाउन से हम वाटर रिसोर्स का अरेंजमेंट करें। मगर लॉन्ग टर्म में हमें स्ट्रेटेजिकली सोचना पड़ेगा कि हम किस तरह काम करें। हमें उसके लिए एक डिपार्टमेंट रखना पड़ेगा, जिसमें से एक डिपार्टमेंट होगा कि वो पता करे कि वाटर क्राइसिस का रीजन क्या क्या है, और जो दूसरा डिपार्टमेंट होगा उसका काम होगा कि वो अवेयरनेस फैलाए, चाहे वो लीडर्स की मदद, MP, MLA और CM, चाहे जिसकी भी मदद लेनी है वो लें। और दूसरा हम ये कह सकते हैं, जैसे मेरे टीममेट्स ने कहा कि हम फिल्टर कर सकते हैं, रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग कर सकते हैं। अवेयरनेस के जरिए हमें ये सारी चीजें बता सकते हैं हम उनको, और हम अवेयरनेस में हम कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स को भी इन्वॉल्व कर सकते हैं कि वो सब आए, और हमें खुद जाना होगा उनके बीच में, पब्लिक के बीच में, कि हम चाहते हैं कि इसके बीच में अवेयरनेस रहे और कम से कम वाटर वेस्ट हो। थैंक यू सर।
Okay, now let me tell you, first let me give you the result. See, in this group task, clearly in the green zone में जो बिल्कुल clearly हैं, वो है कुशाग्र एंड अर्नब। ये दोनों ग्रीन जोन में हैं, इनको ले लेगा वो। जो बॉर्डर पे बैठे हैं टुवर्ड्स ग्रीन जोन, border but towards green zone, and observer may bring them to red zone also. That is Sai, Ritesh and Mohit. They are on the border but towards the green zone. Sai, Ritesh and Mohit. Clearly in the red zone are Aman and Prashant and Jacob. Aman, Prashant, Jacob are in the red zone as of now because of the participation. Now you listen to your this GT tomorrow when it will uploaded. So you listen to it. You'll find that there are I mean events. There are spots, dead silent spots where you could have entered, you could have spoken. And from Arnab, try to learn how to enter by asking question. He silenced Kushagar by asking him question. That Kushagar, let me ask you a question. Kushagar, do you think renewable source is that point actually? When you are asking a question, do you think it is a long term? Do you think that is a problem? I don't agree with you, Sai. Do you think that is going to solve the problem? Please read the task first, friends. Let's read the task first. Now, where you all are wrong is you are participating it as a group discussion, not group task. Even Arnav and Kushagar looks like you're debating and you are not talking like a. So how we can make a group discussion into group task? Only by adding the words. Okay, Kushagar, I agree to what your point is, but let's think this way. Use these words. You speak in the same haughty manner, you speak in the same assertive, aggressive manner, no problem. But use these words. Okay, Kushagar, let's think this way. Kushagar, very good point, Kushagar. Let's think this way. Do you think this? ऐसे आपको वो words use करने हैं, तो group discussion आपका group task हो जाएगा. फिर अगर कोई बहुत parallelly, somebody is speaking parallelly, no problem. You be silent. But then keep looking when somebody is little less enter. And you know, he's going to give you a single fellow chance to introduce and conclude. When 10 minutes are over, then you should stop speaking. You should not speak then. When almost you are reaching the end, you should stop. Waiting for observer to say, please conclude. Many of you will not listen that time because that is the time you are involved in discussion. At that time, you should just watch when observer says, now you conclude and you enter. Okay, friends, now let me conclude this discussion. Getting the chance for conclusion is very easy. Getting the chance for introduction is very difficult. Everybody is waiting to introduce, but nobody is waiting to conclude. Why? Because everybody is talking. So remember this thumb rule. You can very easily conclude, and by the time of conclusion, you have some points. So if a person does not introduce, if he has not contributed much in body, can he conclude? Very good answer is yes, like Ritesh did. Ritesh concluded very nicely. In fact, all the points which he gave, he should have given that in introduction. But maybe by the discussion, he got those points and now he concluded very well. So conclusion is one of the opportunity, last opportunity you have. It is the best opportunity. Nobody waits for conclusion. Now, if I'm to tell you about this topic, this is what I will say. Good evening, friends. My name is Ritesh, and I take the opportunity to introduce the case study or this situation to all of you here. Friends, the situation given to us today is that there is an acute shortage of fresh water in my area, and I am officer serving water resource department. Now we have to find the problem, solution to this particular problem. Okay, so friends, all of you will agree with me that we should discuss this particular problem in the following line. Unless until we know the cause, we cannot find the solution. So first we should discuss about what can be the cause, because solution will largely depend upon the cause. I give you example. If cause is ke pipe fat gaya, pipe mein there is a crack, solution is very simple, weld it and it goes on. I'm just giving you example. So we need to find the cause. After that, solution, let's categorize entire this discussion of finding solution in two main categories: short-term solution, long-term solution. In the short-term solution, friends, we should actually further subdivide that short-term solution into, our first priority is to provide the water, because water is a very, very important basically component in the life of individual. So we need to provide the availability of the water immediate. There is a first priority we should have. So we do provide the water to people immediately. That should be in the short term. Whether we get it from some neighboring district, from neighboring locality in tanker or anything, providing it immediately is the first priority. So we can do that. Second can be prioritizing the water. We need to prioritize it. Potable water, drinking water, that is the first, and then for taking bath or something like that, we have to prioritize it. Third is we need to minimize the wastage. We need to minimize the wastage. That is a third immediate short-term thing we have to do. Then we have to find out the technology, new things, new technologies, which can immediately provide us fresh water. Because as per that topic, it looks like there is no dearth of water, but there is a dearth of fresh water. So can we find out the technology which immediately gives us fresh water? And we need to also put people in all the stakeholders on board. Not only my department, not only government bodies, but maybe Panchayati Raj system, or maybe NGOs, or maybe other people we have to put on board. We have to bring everybody on board, because this is a community problem and community must be involved in solution of that. So that is another short-term goal, short-term approach we should do. So on these lines. And a long-term, obviously, we can go for then finding the solutions like how to create a plant for creating fresh water, and how to go for filling of the groundwater, how to fill the aquifer, what can be done, storage tanks, rainwater harvesting, and making some kind of policies in that direction with the department and with the panchayati. That can be long term. But because the situation says it is urgent situation, we must focus more on short term solution to this. So let's open the house for the discussion now among all of us and start the discussion. अब मैंने सारा summarize किया. अब in these points, if you miss 2-3 points does not matter. So friends, without finding the cause, we cannot find the solution. Let's discuss on the probable cause.
एक क्वेश्चन है सर. सर जैसे कि ये लोग पहले अवेयरनेस पे बात करने लग गए थे, उसी से रिलेटेड डिस्कशन होने लग गया था. मैं बोल रहा था कि कॉजेस पे पहले बात करते हैं. तो सर इस सिचुएशन में क्या करना चाहिए, मतलब मुझे कि जैसे कि ये लोग
अर्नब की तरफ से,
ये लोग
अवेयरनेस, शॉर्ट टर्म लॉन्ग टर्म अवेयरनेस इज नॉट द प्रायोरिटी. Spreading awareness is not going to solve. Arnab, do you think spreading awareness is going to solve this problem? Ask the question. Ask question like that, Aman.
सर बीच में जैसे केओस भी हो गया था थोड़ा सा, तो क्या मैं उस टाइम चुप रह के पॉइंट मिलेंगे मुझको, या फिर मैं बोलते ही रहूं? कैसे
देखो, जब अलग से बात करोगे तो वो आदमी सुनना स्टार्ट कर देता है. तुम्हें बाकी भीड़ से थोड़ा अलग बोलना है. क्वेश्चन पूछो, कुछ ऐसा बोलो कि बाकी चुप हो जाएं, थोड़ा उनको लगे हट के बात बोली है कि नहीं. तो तुम गलत बोल रहे हो. सॉरी फ्रेंड, तुम गलत बोल रहे हो.
सर
मैं
अगर
agree नहीं
लाउडनेस
करता।
बढ़ाना
देखो, मैं
पड़े
एग्री
तो
नहीं करता, तुम गलत बोल रहे हो। आई एम सॉरी, तुम गलत बोल रहे हो। अवेयरनेस बाद की बात है, अवेयरनेस अभी
Yes,
नहीं
sir.
आएगी, अवेयरनेस
वही
बाद
sir,
की
वही।
बात है, अवेयरनेस बाद की बात है। नहीं सॉरी,
मतलब-
अवेयरनेस बाद की बात है, अभी अवेयरनेस नहीं हो सकती। कॉज,
सर मतलब
कॉज
बार-बार
नॉट
रिपीट करूं
अवेयरनेस,
मैं?
कॉज, कॉज नॉट अवेयरनेस, बोलते जाओ।
सर अच्छा
ऐसे
ऐसे बार-बार बोल सकते हैं तो
बिल्कुल
सर
बोल
ऐसे
सकते हैं, थोड़ा
नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट तो नहीं पड़ेगा?
चेहरे पे स्माइल रख के बोलते जाओ। चेहरे पे
अच्छा,
स्माइल
ठीक।
रख के किसी को डांटोगे भी तो ऐसा लगेगा डांट नहीं रहे हो।
ओके सर, ओके सर,
एंटर
ओके।
करो। अब ऐसे कॉज फैलेगा तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते, करना
हाँ
है
सर,
हमने।
सही बात है।
हाँ, अर्नब का देखना ना तुम, अर्नब ने उसको जो कुशागर को कैसे चुप किया था बीच में बोलते बोलते, वो अच्छा है, एक एग्जांपल है आपके लिए।
ओके
सही है,
सर,
आवाज
क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया
आवाज
उससे।
बढ़ा सकता हूँ सर,
हाँ,
आवाज को लाउड कर सकता हूँ सर, क्योंकि
तुम
आवाज
हाँ
किसी
तुम
को
स्पीकर, लाउड स्पीकर लगा सकते हो, कोई ट्रबल नहीं। वहां पे तो
क्योंकि
फिजिकल हो रहा है, कैसे
पहुंच
लगाओगे?
पाता है सर, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मेरी आवाज नहीं पहुंच पा रही है, इसलिए।
आवाज लाउड करके किसी को नहीं काट सकते, वर्ड से काट सकते हो, कुछ बोल के काट सकते हो।
सर जीटी
ऐसे
कितने
वर्ड
देर
बोलो
का
कि
हो रहा है
टेबल
सर?
चुप हो जाए।
सर जीटी हो कितने देर का रहा है सर वैसे जनरली अभी
10
तक
से 15
जितने?
मिनट। ये तुम क्वेश्चन वहां पे कॉमन ग्रुप में पूछोगे, बच्चे आपको आंसर कर देंगे।
सर
हाँ सर।
सर चुप रह के दूसरे के पॉइंट्स को एक्नॉलेज करना, हाँ ये सही बोल रहा है, इस तरीके में पॉइंट मिलेगा मतलब जीटी में?
मिलता है, लेकिन
या
अच्छे
जैसे
तरीके से
कि
एक्नॉलेज
नॉडिंग
करना।
करना, हेड नॉड करना कि हाँ तुम सही कह रहे हो, इस तरीके से मतलब, तो इसके
यार
पॉइंट्स रहते हैं।
इसका मिलेगा 0.1 नंबर, यस यस करने का मिलेगा 0.5 नंबर, यस यू आर राइट बट आई वांट टू ऐड वन मोर थिंग, इसका मिलेगा 2 नंबर। तो एक्नॉलेज करने के भी अलग अलग तरीके होते हैं। अब ऐसे ऐसे करते रहेंगे तो उसका मतलब होगा कि ये मैकेनिकल रोबोट बैठा हुआ है।
ओके सर, ओके सर।
हाँ हाँ करते रहेंगे तब भी उतना खास, लेकिन हाँ, समथिंग इज बेटर देन नथिंग।
यस सर।
चलो, I need to end it up here now. So what I told you, just to revise that, and we'll have multiple sessions tomorrow, right?
सर एक चीज पूछना है सर, मैं भूल गया था। वो जो आप पीडीएफ शो करते हैं पहले, उसमें तो सोल्यूशन लिखा हुआ होता है ना, वो पीडीएफ कहाँ पे मिलेगा मतलब?
शो नहीं, मैं उसमें सोल्यूशन नहीं लिखा होता, मैंने सोल्यूशन देना होता है, अभी लिखना होता है बाद में। अभी मैंने
अच्छा,
डिस्कस किया, अब जो मैंने डिस्कस किया उसको मैं टाइप करूंगा।
हाँ तो वो आप पीडीएफ कहाँ पे
आई विल
मिलेगा?
प्रोवाइड, आई विल प्रोवाइड।
ओके ओके ओके।
थैंक यू।